thing I had here is I thought the negatives were interesting, and that's why I wanted to shout this out. It was some thoughts on Marathon per Tom Warren, which is a guy that I follow for different like news articles and stuff. He had four positives that he listed. The gunplay is classic Bungie, and it feels great. There is plenty of PvP if you're looking for it. The AI enemies are rather clever and well equipped, and the inside environment looks gorgeous. Now his negatives. Now the last two negatives is what I thought was really interesting. The first negative is the outside environment needs work, which that's all right. If that's the case, that would need some work with how the game is kind of set up and perceived. He also said it often feels like playing an Apex Legends extraction shooter, but with a stamina system that makes the movement clunky. And the last thing he had is the gameplay loop isn't compelling enough to make me want to play this over other shooters. So I thought that was really interesting, and they should be having a beta sometime so that we can. Maybe
I mean, this is from
the
alpha because I actually did watch someone who was doing the alpha, and I could very much agree with this because this is also a streamer who I watch who has done several like Apex streams as well and been a part of some like charity Apex tournaments, and she's actually fairly decent at Apex.
Right.
And watching her play was a lot of it towards the end of it when she understood how her character worked and whatnot. Did almost seem like I was watching an Apex stream with how some of the gunplay and stuff was going.
Mm-hmm.
I personally didn't really note the stamina system, but I wasn't playing, so I wasn't really looking for that.
But you can see where he's coming from.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
I watched a decent amount of Marathon gameplay. Like after the last show,
when we talked about it.
When we talked about it, it's like I watched a pretty good amount of it. I'm not exactly impressed with it. It's not looking like something that I would be excited to play.
I mean, and I would be on the same spot because I mean, the most positive I saw from that, and even like the streamer I watched said, was the gunplay.
Yeah.
Right.
They said the gunplay felt good and whatnot,
which we would hope so.
Yeah. It's basically that's pretty much what I heard too. Is it feels like good gunplay, but it's a game coming from Bungie. You expect good gunplay.
Yeah. That's the bare minimum exception. You can't have that as your selling point.
It's like you can't have good gunplay in a shooting game and that be your main selling point. The rest of your gimmick has to be good. Yeah. And from what I was watching, it looks more like revolved around fighting with the AI and the people, and the extraction shooter aspect of it is like the second thought.
Yeah, it really does.
Which is, I mean, not what you want in an extraction shooter. You want that to be, you want the core gameplay loop to be about going in and looting items and getting out, and the fights in between be the fun part, like be fun as well. But that's not supposed to be the only selling point.
Right. Now, let me ask you guys this, because I don't play extraction shooters at all. So I'm just kind of curious on this, because one thing that stuck out to me from the original reveal is that the way they have everything set up is that they are expecting an incredibly high amount of failures, right? Where you're never going to actually succeed and win. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to perceive it as like, oh, well, what we have is going to be like compelling enough for you to constantly want to keep trying. Whatever. With this kind of news that it's like the gameplay loop doesn't seem compelling from what you guys saw, it didn't seem impressive. Does the fact that it also just makes it where it's like you're never going to win, does that just make you see the question I'm trying to ask, where it's like, does that just really add a huge negative to the game?
I mean, no. I guess
I don't know how extractions go, so I don't know what the success rate is. I have no clue. I have no context.
It doesn't make it any more compelling by a far means. It makes it far less compelling.
Okay.
I mean, the streamer I watched and the couple times that she played, I mean, she actually had a fairly decent extraction rate, but this was also her being squirrely and honestly leaving her teammates behind and doing like solo extractions. So
gotcha.
Her focus whenever she thought about it was her actively playing like, this is an extraction shooter, I need to grab stuff and get out.
Okay.
But I mean, in terms of what it seemed like how other people were playing, I mean, no, because I mean, some of the AI were pretty tough in the fight she got stuck with and did murder her or her teammates. And then some of the PvP that she ended up in, it was more or less down to a gunfighter who had the better shooters at times.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's one where the mortality rate is defined by the playstyle. If you're going in looking for constant fighting, you're gonna die a lot more. If you're going in to play the extraction shooter and try to play it, the problem is most extraction shooters are based around a more tactical gunplay and like positioning based. This is more arcadey,
Yes, it is.
which means it's a lot faster paced, it's a lot quicker fights, it's a lot more about repositioning and getting there quickly and getting the drop on people rather than the more tactical make sure you've got the essentially try to make sure you've got the fight won before you take the fight.
Out of curiosity, John, the gameplay you did you see any decent glitches? There's one of the characters is supposed to sort of like run in and help disrupt either glitch or I think the other one's name was like Shroud or Void. Void.
I don't recall if I saw that necessarily.
Because like from the bits I saw was a lot of people, Blackbird and Locust were surviving, and then glitches and Void. I don't know if it's just because it was alpha, so people aren't used to their kits or not necessarily people who are usual shooters and had just picked up alpha keys for content creation and whatnot. Yeah, because like that would be my biggest thing for PvP is just what is the mortality rate on glitch and void players, the ones who are supposed to go in and disrupt and be like in the middle of a gunfight.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah. Honestly, like before seeing a lot of the gameplay, it was one where I was a little more excited about. I'll potentially check it out in a beta. I'm not excited at all to try it. I may try it during a beta just to see if something grabs me or if it's like fun enough to play for a little bit. Probably not going to be enough to make me want to pay $40 or $50 for it.
Right.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a thing of after this alpha, what do they clean up and optimize for their next either closed beta or open beta?
Mhm. Which that'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see the kind of numbers it's going to pull when they actually do an open beta. So that's something to watch out for.